Okay, this is a video called 7 by 7. It's 7 ways to do your 1 steps in self-defense and 7 ways to vary it. We need to teach our 1 steps in self-defense with a lot of enthusiasm. We need to make it exciting for the kids what they're learning, give them a vision for the purpose of what you're doing, and also making sure that we're covering not only review their old stuff, but really emphasizing their new 1 steps in self-defense to make them confident in them. We improve their confidence, we're going to improve their intensity for testing. And so, but also it's important that we be able to vary the way we do it to keep it fresh and exciting. And so this is 7 different ways, actually 7 times 7. So it's more than just 7 different ways you can do these 1 steps of self-defense. Number 1, I'm going to use notes here to go through them. Number 1 is doing it in the mirror. So having your students line up in front of the mirror, facing the mirror, showing them the 1 step you want them to do or the self-defense, modeling it with high proficiency and accuracy, then giving them the expectation. You guys do number 1, I want to see that horse stance and that loud kia. So you've got to set the expectations. You can do that as review all the way through. You can drill them only on their highest 1 steps with good intensity, good technique. That's number 1, facing the mirror. Number 2 is a line drill. You line them up, 2, 3, 4 lines, and in a line drill they come up, they do their 1 step. Okay? You can do this, you could do the line drill as they're just coming up and doing them, or you could have instructors in front of them, or you can have a student in the front. So that's another way to vary it, as line drills, doing their 1 steps. Lowest to highest, highest to lowest. Number 3, doing it on the bag. So you have your bag set up. And they come up to the bag, they step to the side of the bag, ayah! Or they step to the side of the bag, ayah! They're doing self-defense number 1, and hitting the bag. It's another way to vary it. Have them go down the bags doing their 1 steps over and over again. Remember, repetition is key, but with repetition it has to be exciting. Number 4, using the dots and rings. So we have our dots here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. So they start right here. They do number 1. They go up to the next dot. They do it number 1 again. Then they do it again. Then they do it again. Then they go back. They'll do number 2. Even though it seems like it's the same old thing, but to them it's not. You're changing the way they do it just a little bit, and you're causing repetition. Okay? And it keeps them exciting. You can even make it a challenge. 4 of them are coming down, okay, at a time. Next, around the world. This is a new one. I haven't done in a while myself. I used to do this a lot. So around the world means they face the front, they do number 1. Ayah! They'll face the side, do number 1. Ayah! Face the back. Ayah! And then face the side. Ayah! So around the world, they have to do number 1 all the way around the world. It's a great variation, simple variation. But it's also teaching them direction, okay? And they also are not getting used to doing it just one straight way. Number 6, partners. So you partner them up. One has their hand up, and the other one does number 1. Course in leadership, partners means one's attacking the other one. In basic class, it means they're just getting in position. It could be a hand up, it could be a noodle up, it could be a target up. And then number 7, group leaders. Divide them up into groups. Camel belts, yellow belts, orange belts, purple belts. And one student is the group leader. Okay, so they are doing number 1. Everyone's following them on number 1. So that's 7 ways, 7 different ways for you to have them do their 1 steps. Now, with that, there's 7 variations. So with any one of them 7 ways, you can do it and then make a variation on it. So variation number 1 is, whether it's doing it in the mirror, doing it with partners, whatever it is, it's also a fitness variation. So they have to do the 1 step, and then whatever number the 1 step is, you could say, okay, that's how many push-ups you do. They do the push-up, jump up, do the 1 step. Or sit up and 1 step. Any type of fitness level. Or they have to run down, run back, do their 1 step. That's a variation. 2, relay races. Okay, so now you have your lines divided up. They run down, do their 1 step with an instructor, or their self-defense with an instructor, or with the student, or on the bag, however you choose to do it, and run back and the next person goes. Okay, so let's say I'm practicing in the mirror. Boom, we're doing it in the mirror. Then I want them to do a variation of that. Now they start back there. They have to run up, do it in the mirror 3 times, run back, and the next person goes. So I did 1 steps, number 1, or self-defense number 1. I did it number 1 in the mirror. Then the second time I did it, I did the variation of a relay race. Okay, so I did it 2 different ways in one lesson. 3, board break. Okay, so you could choose one technique in the self-defense or the 1 step that you want them to do a board break with. So let's say we did it practicing the dots. Variation number 4, they did their 1 step. Let's say it's number 2. Now, you say, okay, everyone line up in front of me. You're going to step and do number 2. And on the side kick, I want to see you break that board. You just reinforce the 1 step and you reinforce the side kick on that. So because you do the variation. 4, always an important variation, is testing them. Just by telling them you're going to test them on their self-defense or 1 steps is a variation in itself. Because now you're setting up their mindset that they have to do their best to earn their stride. Okay, so that's a good one to use. Number 5 is the one we use a lot, is a challenge. Whoever has the best horse stance, whoever has the best side kick, who can do it the fastest, who has the most intensity, some type of challenge. So we practice it. Let's say we did it partners. Okay, now guys, with your partner, you're going to do your 1 step. Both you have to do your 1 step. Number 1 or number 4, number 5. Back and forth with your partner. And whichever team gets done with the most power, best intensity, good technique, and done first, they win a point for their team. So we did a challenge. 6, a good one, is blind. Have them just close their eyes. And when you clap or you count or whatever, they have to do their 1 step real quick. It changes it. It challenges their balance. It challenges their awareness of where they're at. And then 7. 7 is a good one. Breaking it down, having stations. So depending on what 1 step you're working on or what self-defense you're working on, you divide it into 3 stations. So let's say we're working on with the yellow belts number 3. So they go to the first station, I want them to work on their block. They get to that next station, they have to work on their elbow. Third station, I want them to only work on their spin back elbow. That could be stations on dots, that could be stations on bags. And so you break it down if it's a self-defense. So in station 1, I want them only cleaning it off. Number 2, they're going to get in a good stance. I want them working on the elbow strike. Station number 3, they're going to work on that knee strike. And you can have them do all 3 stations at once. You can have them stay on 1 station. They get to the 2nd station, then work on the 2nd technique of that one. On the 3rd station, then work on the 3rd part of the technique. You're still working the 1 step or self-defense, but the thing is, you're breaking it down into techniques, working on the individual parts. So that's 7 ways to vary your 1 steps and your self-defense to keep it fresh and exciting. You should always do 2. You should always do one of the ways to do it, such as a mirror, line drill, bags, dots, around the world, partners, or group leader. Then 2, you should always have the variation after that. So there should be 2 ways you always do that. All right, I hope this helps.